Check in with First Alert meteorologist Collin Myers with a look at what we can expect, Collin.
Yeah, Ken, tomorrow's going to be a big day, and we've been talking about this for a few days. Let's start with today, and we'll lead into what I'm expecting for tomorrow. First, something interesting happened today. I was waiting to see if thunderstorms would pop up. Look at the time lapse here. And it was a nice start to the day, but then you had cumulus clouds growing, what we call a cumulus field, but nothing popped through. That's significant for tomorrow. Had we had a storm or two today, it may have kind of mitigated the severe risk just a little bit for tomorrow. But since we haven't had storms, the instability is all there. And I think tomorrow we are primed and ready to go. So it's a level 3 risk out of 5. Now, there is some chatter. I think level 4 risk, probably not, but it is possible. Damaging winds and large hail are the primary threats, especially the hail. That's what they're focusing on. Maybe some localized flooding if storms get going and sit over the same spots, and a very isolated shot of a tornado, although I don't think it's likely. Now, here's the hail risk map, and I really want to bring your attention to this. In the pink here is a 30% chance. That's a pretty good swath of seeing hail within 25 miles of any point in this area. That's a pretty good bet. Also, the hatched area, they only do this when there's a significant threat, meaning that if one or two storms in this area gets going and has all the instability, it could actually produce very large hail. And I think 2 is kind of the baseline for the significant severe, what's hatched here. I think we could see hail possibly up to 3 inches if one or two storms really gets going. All right, so the question remains, as we talked about yesterday, do we see morning storms try to dive down from Oklahoma overnight? If we do, that may kind of shake things up a little bit for the afternoon. It may actually push some development back later. But notice the trend on this model, one of the few that was showing it, quite a bit less in that morning storm activity. So that doesn't bode well for the afternoon. If we are clear, and the more sunshine we see tomorrow, you don't usually fear the sunshine, right? The more we see tomorrow, that's not a good sign. That means the atmosphere will be primed. So a stark dry line should start to emerge by early afternoon, maybe even midday. And on that dry line is where we'll see more of the organized supercells, the rotating big updrafts with those big cumulonimbus anvil overhangs. These storms would have the greatest chance of seeing significant hail. And if those roll into the Metroplex, something to watch. Also of note, early afternoon, I think this may be a little late here, but these storms that get going also could have large hail and maybe a very little rotation threat at lower levels. So we got to watch both. Then watch what happens here as we go later in the evening. Again, unlike the storms we saw yesterday and the day before, they pop up, they rain themselves out. They have no really stability with the jet stream. This jet stream is going to keep these storms alive. And I think as we go towards overnight, looks like the models are trying to show this. Storms will typically try to congeal ahead of the jet stream. This is when I think the damaging wind threat will be the highest going into the evening. So that bears watching. But the good news in this looks like it's pretty progressive, and it's still trying to show it out of here by 8 or 9 o'clock. But we got to watch very closely tomorrow. So weather alert in place. Wind damage and large hail are the primary risks. Can't rule out a tornado. Non-zero threat, but it's the lowest threat category it can be. And localized flooding certainly possible if storms start to kind of slow down, okay, or if they run over the same spots, we could see some flooding. So 97 tomorrow, 50% chance of thunderstorms, 99 on Sunday. But that weather alert is in place for all of the Metroplex. We'll see what they do with that risk, but we'll have to watch very closely starting even tomorrow morning. Ken?
All right, thank you very much.